time for another food video here in Tokyo, and today we are having shabu shabu. That is Japanese hot pot, and this is a dish we've had so many times when we were living in Korea. This is our first time trying it in Japan, so it's gonna be pretty cool. We've already got the pot here at the table, and we've ordered pork and beef, so we're gonna be cooking two different types of meat, also lots of veggies, so this should be really tasty. It's been a long time since I had shabu shabu. Okay, so the meat has arrived at the table. I'm guessing the lighter one is pork, this other one is beef. And underneath we have a whole bunch of veggies like cabbage and, I don't know, leafy greens, some tofu. So we're just gonna be adding all of it in and letting it cook because the water is already bubbling. So I'm just gonna use my hands here and start adding stuff in.
Get them veggies in the pot.
Some tofu. I remember in Korea they would give us scissors to like chop up all the veggies, but here it's already pre-chopped. So I'm just getting it all
kind of makes
there.
It nice. So yeah, guys, you cook the veggies well first before you put in the meat. That is the key to shabu shabu.
That's the way we do it anyway.
That's the way we do it.
So now I'm just gonna pick up the meat with my chopsticks, throw it in here since it's already boiling. And as you can see, it doesn't take very long for it to cook.
Swish, swish, and
like I've just swished it around a little bit, and it's already changed color. It's already brown. So now that my meat is all cooked, I could have it on its own, or I'm gonna dip it in this little bowl. It has a bit of a sauce with some chives in there. So let's see what that is all about.
What do you think?
That's a sweet sauce.
Oh wow.
It's like sweet with a little hint of sour, and I think it has a bit of soy sauce in there as well.
Yum.
And it gives it a really nice taste. Wow.
That's awesome, huh?
The only thing that I'm finding different is that I'm used to, in Korea, they used to give us a big bowl so that we could like dish out, you know, some of the veggies and the broth and the meat, and you could have it in a bowl and just eat it. But here I just have a rice bowl, I have my sauce, and I have a whole bunch of like salt and spices in here.
Yeah.
So
apparently they're bringing noodles for us later though.
Ooh, that'll be exciting.
We have a bowl, I think it's this one here. That's supposed to be for the noodles at some point.
But anyways, I feel like I've been chatting enough. It's now your turn to try this because you're missing out.
Yeah.
All right, Sam.
My turn, guys. Exciting moment.
Ooh.
Look at that.
Nice big piece of meat there.
Dunk it in. Look at that. Ooh, it's already breaking apart.
And it's almost instantaneous the way it cooks.
Yeah, it cooks instantly.
It changes color so quickly.
Oh my gosh, there's just a little bit more to cook. And then I'm good.
And I feel like we've mentioned this in every shabu shabu video, but it basically, this dish gets its name from the swishing sound when you put in the meat. Swish, swish.
Exactly.
Shabu shabu.
All right, in for a dunk, a big dunk. And I think I'll have it with some rice too.
Ooh, look at you getting fancy there.
I'm getting a little fancy here. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I love the sauce, it's like sour.
Yeah.
I dunked it in that sour sauce. What I have to say about that meat, it's just so thinly cut, so tender. And we're moving on to the pork.
Yes, so we've tried the beef. It was good.
Yeah, we're almost done the beef.
Now let's see what this is all about. Yeah. This, it almost looks like prosciutto.
Yeah, it's a nice looking cut. It's a nice looking cut, I have to say.
Yeah. So let's see.
Squish that.
These slices, they feel a little heavier, a little thicker for some reason. Let's see. Ooh.
Looks good.
I feel like the pork cooked even faster.
Yeah. That was like,
right.
Maybe the pot's a little hotter, who knows?
Yeah. Okay, so now dipping it in the sauce. And I'm gonna have some with rice as well.
Yeah, good idea.
I
think you'll like it that way.
Had too much of my rice yet.
How's that? Quite different?
It's not super different. I have to say it looks a bit more fatty, but it doesn't taste fatty or chewy.
Okay.
The meat's actually quite tender for pork.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just feel like it's a slightly thicker cut than with the beef, but it's really good. And again, it goes really well with the sauce.
Yeah.
So yeah, and you know what? We haven't tried any of the veggies yet. I feel like we need to dig into this.
Yeah, we gotta get our veggies.
Oh, this is kind of cool. So this is the only thing that was in the water in the pot when it first started boiling, and it's some kind of seaweed that helps flavor the soup. So this is what we're tasting. So I'm gonna put that back in. You don't eat that.
No.
But we can eat some of these greens here. Ooh, and I'm noticing like little pieces of meat that have been left
that
behind.
have splintered off, fragmented off.
Allow those to go to waste.
Oh, and is the tofu in there as well?
Oh yeah, I've like completely forgotten about the tofu.
Yeah.
My goodness.
There you go. So you have a lot to try.
Poor tofu. Yeah. This is piping hot. It's all steaming.
What do you
The
think?
veggies are so soft right now.
We probably overcooked them a bit, huh?
The cabbage, it's just like disintegrating in my mouth, basically.
Boiled to death cabbage. Which one do you like the most of all the veggies?
Honestly, I'm not a huge fan of the veggies just because they don't have a strong flavor. Like we've had other shabu shabus where you can get a spicy broth, and then your veggies take on a really nice flavor.
Yeah.
But this one is just a little bit bland.
Okay.
That's why I like having this sauce. Maybe I should
sour
be
sauce.
dipping
Dip it into the
my
sour
veggies
sauce.
into the sauce.
There you go. Cool.
That's an improvement.
Yeah.
But I still feel like I prefer the spicy broth or like some kind of flavored broth.
Yeah.
So that I have to do less work. No constant dipping. I can just, enjoy straight out of the pot.
Exactly.
Okay, so we're giving Sam a chance to try the pork.
Yep. It's gonna be interesting. Let's see which one's better. Which one do I like better?
Swish, swish.
Swishity swish, swishity swish, swish, swish.
We just added some of the
Shabu.
noodles to start cooking, so I think that
Shabu,
cooled down the water.
Yeah.
Might need a bit longer to cook.
Yeah. Well, this looks done.
Yeah?
Grab some rice. That's also really nice too, but I do have to say I prefer the beef.
Yeah?
Yeah. If I was going to recommend one over the other, get the beef, guys.
What do you think makes the beef better?
It's richer in flavor, I find.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, also, I want to mention, you can get some really gourmet beef in this shabu
Sure
shabu.
can. There's
Like,
some
we
high-end
just
stuff.
went for the basic stuff, but
Yeah.
they had some dishes where it was like $40, $60
Yeah.
just for the meat.
You know what, guys? I'm putting the rest of this in right now, and then I'm going to throw in the noodles as well.
Ooh,
Because
all right.
we have been cooking this for a long time.
Okay. All right, guys, so this is the part where the meal starts to get a little confusing for me because I'm so used to the Korean version of shabu shabu where I have another bowl. So it's like the noodles are done, but I don't have anywhere to put them. So we figured we'd put them in here.
Yeah, I think the lady
This-
told us maybe to dunk them, but I don't know if we're supposed to put them
Yeah,
in
like
there.
this just had a bit of salt and spice at the bottom. So we thought, okay, we may as well
Yeah.
flavor the noodles.
You can also maybe dip it in the sour sauce
Maybe
too.
dip it in the sauce, right? But I still wish I had an extra plate. I feel like there's a plate missing here. But anyways, we're gonna roll with it.
Oh.
Here we have it.
How was that?
We definitely overcooked our noodles, man. They're so soft, they're almost falling apart.
Done to the max.
Yeah, we just threw them in there.
Yeah, we found it was a little tricky filming and
Yeah.
cooking. We prioritized filming, so yeah, we overdid it a bit. So keep
But
that in mind if you're
these noodles-
if you're eating here.
They are nice.
Yeah.
They're not too salty. I was worried that because we just added into the bowl, maybe it would be like too much salt or too much spice.
Yeah.
But this has been pleasant. Maybe we have done it right. Who knows?
Good.
All right, guys. So we have come to the end of this meal, and honestly, I'm sweating right now. I feel like I've gotten a facial throughout the meal. It's just like really
A
warm
meat
in here.
facial.
I wanted to mention another comparison to the Korean shabu shabu. There was no crispy rice at the end. So in Korea, you get your broth and it's usually like a spicy broth. So you let that bubble and at the end, you're almost like letting that burn a little bit and then you add rice and you let it go all crispy and you enjoy that at the very end of your meal. So it's like you get your meat, then you get your noodles, then you get your rice. Here, there is no crispy rice at the end. So I was kind of like, what? What is this? So I would have to say, like, even though this was really good, I prefer Korean shabu shabu just because I feel like that has different courses and like I'm getting more food and more of a culinary experience at the table.
Yeah, that's a good point.
But anyways, let's talk about the price. The total for this was 2,100 yen, which is 19 US dollars. And also this was a lunch special, so it's a lot cheaper to eat shabu shabu for lunch than it is for dinner. Also, when we were trying to find a shabu shabu restaurant, we noticed that most of the restaurants only open for dinner from 5 p.m. onwards. So you'll want to do some research before you head out and make sure you're going to a restaurant that serves shabu shabu for lunch. Otherwise, it might be disappointing. But yeah, we're leaving here stuffed. That was a very good meal. We hope you guys enjoyed the video and we'll see you next time. Bye!
Ta-ta!